Hey everyone, welcome back to my second Canada Day video. If you missed the first one, I was talking about my Substack article I created. It's titled Being a Canadian Overseas by a Canadian Overseas. And I actually talk about my epiphany that I had and finally making myself realize how fortunate I am to be Canadian. If you haven't checked out that video yet, I'll leave a link in the description below. Check that one out first before you watch this one. But after I created that video, I realized this channel is not just about me and my opinions. It's about the communities. So what I did is I asked some of the members as well as those on Discord a simple question. What makes you proud to be Canadian? So in this video, we're not just going to hear from me, we're going to hear from the community. And we're also going to hear from some international viewers as well, and our good friend of the channel, Josh from the Enemy From Within. So stick around to the end to hear what he has to say about Canada. So with that said, let's get started. And the first comment comes from YUL Spotter. What makes me a proud Canadian? Community. Canadians take care of each other, no matter the province, political affiliation, race, beliefs, and how long someone has been here. Accommodating. Canadians respect each other's cultures and customs. We have earned our good reputation around the world because of this. Nationhood. We share values across Canada regarding sovereignty, cultures, national identity, language, history, and traditions. Amenability. We are morally responsible and have fundamental respect for the law. No one is above it. Diplomacy. Canada has a long history of peacekeeping and a country that others will turn to when impartiality and fairness is required. And the last one, anti-fascism. Canadians hate fascism and fascists. Canadians fought against it in World War II and will fight against it whenever the world is threatened by it. I want to thank you, YL Spotter, for sending this over, as well as helping me with any aviation questions I have. The next one is from Professor Wayne Smith from the Toronto Metropolitan University, also a good friend of the channel. Wayne says, yes, I was born in Canada, but after living in the United States for a time, I also made the conscious choice to come back home. For me, Canada is the place where I feel safe to raise my family, and for me to grow and contribute. Every day, I'm given the incredible privilege of helping the next generation of young Canadians pursue their dreams. And let me tell you, the diversity of mind, body, and even our youth today, absolutely inspirational. Seeing their passion and their drive genuinely makes me feel so good about the future of this country. Living here means I can respectfully exchange ideas and learn from the best minds across the globe, all while being grounded in a place that has given my family the chance to grow, develop, and be accepted for who they are. I've been fortunate enough to experience much of this country from coast to coast to coast. And through all those travels, one thing remains true. We are a nation of empathetic, helpful people who genuinely want opportunities for all. Happy birthday to our wonderful nation. May everyone's journey be safe. Thank you, Professor Wayne Smith, for your message, as well as all of your help you've given me for my channel. And I'm looking forward to sharing more Wayne Explains segments for the rest of the community. The next one is from Guillaume, who's a member of our channel, and he also introduced me to Dave Hamlin Schellenberg, who helped to create the petition E-7319 with Elizabeth May. Which I might want to remind everybody, this petition is still active, and it's active until July 29th. The TLDR for this one is to get ICE and HSI pretty much out of Canada. If you haven't checked this one out yet, I'll leave a link in the description below. I will also leave a link in the description below for the interview that I had with Dave. So if you want more information on this petition, you're going to want to watch that video. Now back to Guillaume's message. Hi GTL. I'm a proud Canadian because we are a society that looks out for each other, who cares about our neighbors, and will go above and beyond to help those in need. I am proud to be Canadian because we acknowledge that we aren't perfect, but we appreciate what we have and are working to make it ever slightly better every day. Happy Canada Day. Now, I 100% agree with you on this one, Guillaume. That I understand Canada is not perfect. No country is. I also know when I need to be critical on my own government, like when they're trying to privatize parts of our airports, or the latest news in British Columbia, where I'm from, the government's trying to buy back all of the empty apartment units. Personally, I don't agree with those, but that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, I still believe we have the right government to take Canada where it needs to go, and to also cut the ties with the United States, where we can. So I want to thank you, Guillaume, for your sending your message over and supporting my channel. And happy Canada Day to you as well. Now, the next one I want to read out is from one of our viewers named Ivana. Hello, GTL and community. My name is Ivana. I'm a very proud Canadian. My family immigrated from Italy to Canada when I was a young girl. I think this is the best thing about living in the Greater Toronto Area, is the fact that multiculturalism works well here most of the time. I love tasting and experiencing different foods and cultures. My husband and I just returned from a trip from Munich, Germany, and Stockholm, Sweden. We made it very clear to everyone that we were Canadian, not American. I have visited a few provinces over my lifetime, but I still want to visit more. I've been to several cities in Ontario, BC, Quebec, New Brunswick, and PEI. My favorite city is Montreal. I'm a big Habs fan. I look forward to your videos every day. Thank you for your message, Ivana. You know, one big takeaway I get from this is that I think as Canadians, we need to start exploring our own country. And this is one of my biggest regrets. I mean, I'm just kind of going off on a tangent here, but it is one of my biggest regrets that I've spent so much time in the United States and I didn't explore my own country. I mean, sure, it was easy to travel to like Seattle or LA, San Francisco, Hawaii, or even Las Vegas if you're on the West Coast. I mean, everything, well, except for Hawaii, is probably like under 3 hour flight. And a lot of the times it's actually cheaper to fly to the US than Eastern Canada. It is something I think a lot about these days. I mean, I think with all the drama that we're having with our meth lab of a neighbor, it's really changed my priorities when it comes to traveling. So definitely, when I'm back in Canada, exploring the rest of my country will be a priority for me. So thank you, Ivana, for sending this over to me. This next one here is from Prof K, who's also one of my Discord and YouTube channel moderators. And he's also someone I gotten to know very well just through the channel. We're both from Vancouver and we're both living overseas. But we're both proud Canadians living abroad, and we've both never seen a Stanley Cup in Vancouver. I saw a riot, that's about it though. And no, I'm not in these photos as well. But here's Prof K's message. What makes me proud of being Canadian? It's our global reputation. I feel immense pride in our good name and solid reputation around the world. Living abroad, I get to see firsthand how Canadians are welcome and cherished as visitors. Our politeness and good nature precede us, as people know when Canadians enter the room, or restaurants, or bar. We're there for fun, not to cause trouble. Our country might not be as well known as others. Many hear Canada and first thought, oh, a cold place. But afterwards, the thought becomes, oh, cold place but warm hearts. That's what makes me proud. We're known and loved where it matters. Now, I think this is something that a lot of Canadians might not understand unless they've left the country for a little bit. When I say a little bit, experiencing another culture for at least 3 to 6 months or more. Because when you're overseas and you're integrating into a new culture, and when people find out you're Canadian, it is a humbling experience. I remember my first stint away when people started asking me where I'm from. I mean, obviously, with my accent, it's really easy to get mistaken for a US citizen. But when I tell them I'm from Canada, the tone usually changes, and sometimes I get questions like, oh, you don't have gun problems like the United States does, right? And I'll say, no, of course not. But it's the reputation that Canada has globally, and lately, I mean, within the last year and a half or two, it's really shown. I mean, you can just look at my video comments. You see all the international people commenting on Canada versus our neighbors to the south. There's just no comparison. Sure, we might sound the same and we might look the same, but internally, we're severely different than the United States, and people around the world can tell. So take it from two Canadians living abroad, me and Prof K, that we should be proud of our reputation globally. So thanks for sending this over, Prof K. Appreciate it. The next comment I want to move on to is from one of our Discord moderators named Lady Cluggin. I've screwed up the pronunciation of her screen name so many times. I think it's been about 3 times now, so I'm not going to screw it up a fourth. Let me read out her message. GTL has asked us what makes us feel proud to be Canadian, and it's a hard question. I think a lot of us are more humble than prideful, so I might just list some things that I'm thankful for being Canadian. We have a more appreciation for community. We're more willing to help our neighbors. My kids and I were out for dinner at the local pub with my parents, and someone came up and congratulated my daughter on her recent graduation. My community is really close-knit, and everyone looks out for each other, which I don't think happens everywhere. I also appreciate all the beautiful landscape we have, and I'm so glad to help promote it as your backgrounds. And I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name. It makes me want to travel to Canada more for sure. I haven't traveled out west yet, because I was told if I did, I wouldn't want to come back to Ontario. I'm also thankful my kids get to grow up here. They appreciate the nature, the fact that we live in a safe area where they can go for bike rides with their friends. They are old enough to get what's happening to the south of us, and they don't want that for Canada. So they help give me some pride and hope that the future generations will always be thankful and proud to be Canadians. One thing that comes to my mind, I received an email from one of our US viewers, and they basically said that they're scared for their kids. And when I say scared for the kids, it's more of the fact that, with all the school shootings and things happening in the US, and the kids having to be doing, what do they call them? Lockdown drills? It wasn't an environment and society that they wanted their kids to grow up in. And the last I heard, this person was actively trying to move out of the United States. So with that said, it makes me grateful and appreciative of Canada that the only drills that I had to do growing up was earthquake drills and fire drills. So Lady Cluggin, thank you for that reminder of the stark differences that we have between us and the United States. Now this next one is from one of our members named the ADHD Gaming. Both sides of my family have been living on the land of this country long before it was a country. Being a proud Canadian is literally in my blood. There's no other country in the world like it. To put it in Jeff's words, I am Canadian. For the international viewers who don't know who Jeff is, he did a Molson's Canadian commercial years ago. And last year, he did another one, but this time to stand up for Canada's sovereignty. I would love to play it for everybody, but I'll probably end up getting a copyright strike. So what you can do is just go onto YouTube. Actually, I'll make it easier for everyone. I'll put a link to the commercial in the description below. But I want to thank you, the ADHD Gaming, for sending this over to me. Now this next one is from one of our channel members named Live and Right. He says, "My pride is in Canada can be summed by the vast differences between our two national holidays, July 1st and September 30th. July 1st, of course, is Canada Day, the day we celebrate the birth of our nation and all that we have accomplished in the last 159 years. We are a mosaic, and at our best, we have adopted the best attitudes of cultures from around the world and forged them into something unique, something to be cherished, celebrated, and revered. It's a joyous day celebrating our country and all that's great about it. But September 30th, Truth and Reconciliation Day, throws some hard, cold reality on the pretty picture we painted for ourselves on Canada Day. It's a day of recognition set aside for Canada's greatest failures, our original sin, the treatment of our Indigenous population. Unlike Canada Day, September 30th is not about beaver tails and fireworks. It's a bitter dose of the reality of our failures as a society, but also a beacon of hope that we can make amends for those failures. Those 2 days celebrate both who we are and what we have accomplished, and also how far we have to go. Few nations in the world set aside a day to recognize their failings. Canada is a perfect society because we recognize we're not a perfect society, yet every day we strive to be a little bit better and learn from our mistakes, as well as from the world around us. True perfection is a long way off and likely unachievable, but I am proud that at our best we reach for it. Now, I've always said that Canada is not perfect. We have our flaws, some major flaws, and everything that happened with the residential school system and the Indigenous children should never have happened. But the thing is, we can't change the past. But what I think is majorly different between us and the United States is that we recognize it. I'm not proud of it, and quite frankly, I'm embarrassed. We could even say the same thing about the Chinese head tax that happened in the early 1900s. But the biggest thing is that our government and our people, we recognize it, unlike some other country that we're neighbors with. So I want to thank you, Live and Right, for giving us a reminder about this, that Canada is not perfect, but we do recognize our faults. Now this next one comes from Canadian Ton, who is also my subreddit moderator. What makes me proud to be Canadian isn't a person, a piece of cloth, a sport, or a tree sap, maple. It's an ethos. It's a way of viewing the world that navigates its complexities by grappling with reality and always trying to do the right thing, even when it might require sacrifice. We sometimes don't live up to our own ideals, but we don't lower them. We take the hard look, reflect, and try to correct. I love the polite and kind reputation that precedes us everywhere in the world, that we earn by seeking the humanity in others and offering an open hand. Perhaps most of all, I take pride in the idea that so many cultures can be appreciated for their differences yet bind together as one beautiful people in a beautiful land. I think Tawny's message, as well as Professor Wayne Smith, they both touch on the multiculturalism in Canada. It is something that travelers and tourists do appreciate when they come to our country, but it's also what makes our country welcoming as well. I want to thank you, Tawny, for sending over this message, and to both you and Hack for helping to moderate the subreddit. Now I'm wondering if anybody noticed I changed the background. I took these photos last year summer, and I did wish I took some more when I was back. Anyways, moving on. When I asked this request of, what makes you proud to be Canadian, it wasn't just Canadians that responded. We actually got some international responses as well, and I want to read them out. The first one, "Hey Canada, thank you for being who you are. Friendly, supportive, badass to those who try to press you. Thank you for keeping your elbows up. Thank you for resisting the fascist darkness creeping up from the south. You are the shining beacon that helps the free world avoid that dark peril. Canada Day is your day. Enjoy it. With love and respect from Germany, Roderick." It's not only Canadians that know about our birthday on July 1st. People globally know about our birthday. And I think it means more these days to get messages like this from somebody in Germany, especially when our sovereignty is being threatened. But I have another one here from Necron, who's an Australian that's in our Discord server. And he says, "In a few short days as I write this, Canada will become 159 years old. As an Aussie, I have some feelings on this matter, mostly good of course. Growing up, I would say I didn't know too much about Canada, apart from what everyone else was told here. As a fellow Commonwealth nation, we share a king, but not much else, how I thought. I remember in high school, my math teacher was in fact from Canada. I made the mistake of calling her American, something I felt bad about looking back. So what do I feel about Canada? Well, I don't see a friend, that doesn't go far enough. I see family. Family helps when needed. I still remember Canadian firefighters. It being winter at the time, could have stayed safe in Canada, but still came as the nation burned in 2019. As a fellow Commonwealth nation, we share a history of brotherhood since 1901, the founding of Australia as a nation. From the field of Kapyong to the trench of World War I, we have been mates. So happy birthday, Canada. I will raise a drink to you, and come over for a visit sometime, whether or not too bad over here." I want to thank both Necron as well as Roderick, our international viewers, for taking the time to give Canada a shout out on our birthday. But we're also getting support from south of the border. Not everyone south of the border is MAGA. This one here is from MinnieMouse71755. "Ashamed to be American, and at 70 years, financially in prison here. I pray for the day I can leave Trumpland. Canadians have much to be grateful and respected for. Living near the BC border is torturous. Knowing only a little bit away, people can live without fear of imprisonment because of speech and peaceful dissent. I watched my country fall from the shining light on a mountaintop to a wasteland of destruction and fascism. When I speak to Canadians, I'm reminded of what humans are supposed to be, how we should act towards one another. I pray every day that the way out of the United States becomes possible for my family. I have never heard any Canadian voice such a thing. Elbows up, Canada, your beautiful country and wondrous countrymen and women is to be envied and defended as the new mountaintop light. I want to thank you, Minimos, for sending this over to me, because it is a good reminder that not everybody in the United States is a Taco Tuesday supporter, and some are just as horrified as we are in the rest of the world. Now, the last message I want to show is a video from one of our good friends of the channel, Josh, and he has a few things to say about Canada. Let's play it.
Canada, how are you doing? It is absolutely fantastic to see you. I heard y'all are getting ready to celebrate a birthday up there, have a big old celebration, all that, and Guard the Leaf was kind enough to ask me to drop by and celebrate with you guys, which is awesome because Guard the Leaf must know more about me than I thought he did, because I have this weird mental block in my head where I cannot remember birthdays to save my life, and I have to be reminded of my own every year. I don't even remember at all until my phone starts blowing up every morning, not every morning, in the morning rather, with birthday wishes, and I go, oh yeah, that is today, I'll be damned. And thank you, Guard the Leaf, for bringing me along to celebrate with you guys. And I sort of just wanted to talk about the journey we've all been on together for the last couple years, and it has been my absolute pleasure to get to know so many Canadian people and learn about your country and your culture and all these different things, because to be honest with you, on my end, this shit kind of happened by accident when a madman got elected into the White House in the United States again, because apparently in America we don't learn our fucking lessons. And after he destroyed everything the first term, a lot of people in this country turned around and went, you know what we really need? Donald Trump. And I don't know what they were thinking, and I was absolutely confused by the entire thing. And that's about the time I jumped in the political ring and decided to start speaking on it, because it was my demographic. Unfortunately, a lot of white rural working class Americans came out to vote for this bullshit, and I figured it was my duty to stand up, even though I do feel bad about it. Where was I 4 years ago when I could have been talking, right? But that's when I decided to join in. And then when I watched it as Donald Trump started threatening your country, it really bothered me. I didn't know anything about Canada, but I know the difference between right and wrong, right? And Donald Trump, of course, is a maniac who threatens everybody and expects everyone to bow down to him. For God's sakes, the guy has threatened Greenland on multiple occasions. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. I have no idea. But unfortunately, in the United States, I have watched for the last 10 years as every person that swore they were going to stand up to Donald Trump has bowed down to Donald Trump. Every institution in this country that was supposed to be a guardrail against a what's the fucking word I'm looking for? A dictator, or any other word you want to use for a madman in control, has fallen, has bowed down to Donald Trump. And it's been a very, very frustrating thing. So when I watched him start threatening Canada, first through tariffs, where he makes this claim that tariffs were there to hurt your country economically and sort of put you in line, that's obviously confusing for anyone that's paying attention, and we are clearly on the losing end of the trade wars that Donald Trump has started. But then when he started talking about turning Canada into the 51st state, that's where I really felt the need to step in, because the first time I heard him say it, I'll be honest with you, I thought he was just kind of busting Justin Trudeau's balls. Granted, it is a very disrespectful thing to say. I was like, what, this dumb bastard, why is he even talking like that? And nobody's going to give a damn, and nobody's going to take this seriously. And then it turned out that he was actually serious about that. And if you guys know anything about me, I can't fucking stand bullies. I cannot stand that shit at all. And that's when I decided to start speaking on Donald Trump's words towards Canada and the things that he was saying that he was going to do. And that's how I met all of you. That's how we all became friends. And I've learned so much from you guys over the last couple of years. I definitely misread Canada. I am always willing to own the things that I'm wrong about. And after so many years of watching everyone just fall in line in the United States, I was kind of thinking this whole thing was going to go that way. At least the Canadian government might bow down and do what Donald Trump wants. And I was pleasantly surprised when the Canadian government, you guys elected Mark Carney, who does, a fine job, in my opinion, of standing up to Donald Trump. And most importantly, the Canadian people came out and said, fuck you, we're not dealing with your bullshit, and responded with great economic harm to the United States, justifiably so, through massive boycotts. And it has just really been a pleasure watching you stand up for yourselves. I have always been impressed by that. And like I said earlier, truly been a pleasure to get to know you guys and more about your country over the last couple years. I will forever be grateful for you guys taking the time to educate me on things that I don't understand, and most importantly, being a damn friend to this old redneck trucker down here in the United States, just trying to do my best to survive. Many of you have told me that you have made me an honorary Canadian. I don't know if that's the legal process. I don't know if you're allowed to do it, but I believe that it's the thought that counts. And thank you so much for all of that. And congratulations on all of your success and holding your own when a bully tried to push you around. Truly one of the most impressive things that I have ever seen. And before I go on too long on Guard the Leafs video, it has truly been an honor to get to know you. And I consider myself an ally to Canada and the Canadian people going forward. And one day, my friends, I have hope that the United States will get its shit together and we can come together again and put all of this behind us, but we will see what happens in the future. Anyways, love you guys, congratulations, and good job standing up for yourselves.
I want to thank you, Josh, for your message to the Canadians watching this right now. You are definitely an ally to Canada, and I consider you a friend as well. You, as well as the other US citizens that follow and support my channel, are always a good reminder that there are good people in the United States. If you haven't subscribed to Josh's channel, which is The Enemy From Within, I will leave a link in the description below, so go subscribe to his channel if you haven't done so yet. Alright everyone, that's all I got for this video. I do want to wish all the Canadians watching this right now a happy Canada Day back home. It isn't my first Canada Day away, but this time, it does hit differently being away from home. So have a great celebrations with your family, everyone. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all as well. Now, if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.